The Stoic secret to speaking less and meaning more. We live in an age of endless noise. Everyone is speaking. Few are listening. Social media, debates, arguments, gossip, it never ends. But in the midst of all this noise, the Stoics held the secret. A secret that gave their words weight. A secret that made their voices rare, but powerful. They mastered the art of speaking less and meaning more. Today, we'll explore how the Stoics practiced silence, discipline, and wisdom in speech. We'll uncover why fewer words can lead to greater influence, deeper respect, and truer peace of mind. And most importantly, we'll see how you can use this secret to transform the way you communicate in your own life. The noise of words. Words are everywhere. They sell to us, persuade us, distract us. They can uplift, but they can also deceive. Seneca warned, "We are more often frightened than hurt, and we suffer more in imagination than in reality." Much of this fear comes from words, what others say, or what we repeat endlessly to ourselves. The Stoics understood something timeless. The more you speak, the more likely you are to speak foolishly. The more you argue, the more you lose your pace. The more you rush to fill silence, the more your words lose weight. To the Stoics, speaking was not casual. It was moral. It was tied to virtue, and that meant speech required discipline. Epictetus, control your tongue. Epictetus, who was once a slave, rose to become one of the greatest Stoic teachers. And his advice about speech was simple: guard your tongue. He said, be silent for the most part, or if you speak, say only what is necessary and in few words. Think about that. Not everything deserves a response. Not every opinion deserves to be shared. Not every silence needs to be filled. Epictetus knew that speech was power, and power misused creates chaos. So he advised his students, speak less, but when you do, speak truthfully, wisely, and with purpose. Marcus Aurelius, speak only what is true and just. Marcus Aurelius, Emperor of Rome, had the world's attention. Every word he spoke could move armies, change laws, or alter the lives of millions. And yet, he warned himself, if it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. For Marcus, speech was not a tool for self-display. It was a responsibility. He reminded himself daily that words must serve justice, truth, and reason, not ego. Imagine if we lived by this today. How many arguments would vanish? How many lies would never be spoken? How much stronger would our words become if we said only what was true, necessary, and just? Seneca, the value of silence. Seneca wrote letters to his friends filled with wisdom that still speaks to us centuries later. But even he reminded himself, silence often carries more power than speech. He wrote, speech is the index of the mind, meaning your words reveal who you are. When you speak carelessly, you reveal a careless mind. When you speak with anger, you reveal an unsteady soul. When you speak with restraint, with thoughtfulness, you reveal strength. Seneca knew that silence was not emptiness. It was space. Space to think, space to choose, space to let truth emerge. Why speaking less matters. The Stoics weren't against words, they were against wasted words. Why? Because words carry consequences. They can build trust, or destroy it. They can heal or they can wound. The Stoics wanted their words to reflect their character. And so they practiced restraint, not because silence is easy, but because silence creates weight. When you speak less, people listen more. When you choose your words carefully, they gain value. And when you learn to remain silent, you gain mastery over yourself. Speaking less in practice, the Stoic way. So how do we apply the Stoic secret to our own lives? 1. Pause before speaking. The Stoics practiced reflection before action, and that included speech. Ask yourself, is this true? Is it necessary? Is it kind? If not, let it remain unsaid. 2. Choose quality over quantity. Don't measure your speech by how much you say, but by the weight of what you say. One sentence of truth is worth more than 1,000 empty words. 3. Embrace silence. Silence is not weakness. Silence is strength. The Stoics would often sit in stillness, preferring to say nothing rather than add noise to the world. 4. Avoid gossip and idle talk. Seneca warned that gossip and chatter weaken the soul. Speak of ideas, of virtues, of what elevates, not of rumor, trivialities, or the faults of others. And 5. Listen more. To speak less is to listen more. The Stoics valued wisdom, and wisdom grows through listening, not speaking. Words as weapons and tools. The Stoics also understood that words can wound. A careless insult can linger for years. A harsh judgment can crush the spirit. Epictetus said, "Any person capable of angering you becomes your master." Words trigger emotions, and undisciplined speech creates conflict. But words can also heal. A kind phrase, a word of encouragement, a gentle truth. These can change the course of someone's life. The Stoics remind us, treat words as tools, not toys. Use them to build, not to destroy. Use them to guide, not to harm. The power of saying less. There is a paradox here. The less you speak, the more people hear you. Think of Marcus Aurelius's Meditations. It wasn't written for an audience. It wasn't filled with long speeches or arguments. It was filled with brief reflections, simple reminders. And yet those words outlived empires. The power of words does not come from abundance. It comes from clarity, from truth, from restraint. When you say little, but what you say is meaningful, your voice becomes rare. And rarity creates value. Modern lessons in a world of endless words. In today's world where every opinion is shouted online, where everyone is eager to argue, the Stoic secret feels more urgent than ever before. We think that being loud gives us influence. We think that endless explanation makes us convincing. But the Stoics show us otherwise. Real influence is not about volume. It's about weight. And weight comes from restraint. The person who speaks less, but with wisdom, commands more respect than the one who never stops talking. The discipline of words. Let's be clear. Speaking less is not about silence alone. It's about discipline. The Stoics trained their minds daily through journaling, reflection, and practice, so that when they spoke, their words came from reason, not impulse. You don't have to stop talking. You simply have to speak deliberately. Make every word a reflection of your character. Make every sentence an offering of truth.
So, what is the Stoic secret to speaking less and meaning more? It is this: guard your tongue. Speak only what is true, necessary, and just. Value silence as much as speech, and remember that your words reveal your soul. Epictetus taught us to be silent for the most part. Marcus Aurelius reminded us to speak only truth. Seneca showed us that silence is wisdom. Their words were few, but they still echo centuries later. Why? Because they lived by the very principle they taught. In the end, speaking less is not about saying nothing. It's about ensuring that when you do speak, your words mean everything. So I'll leave you with a challenge. Today, pause before you speak. Choose silence over noise.
Choose clarity over chatter. And when you finally open your mouth, let your words carry weight. If this message inspired you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Together, let's continue learning from the Stoics. Not just how to live, but how to speak with wisdom, restraint, and meaning.